Good day, I'm Johannes Snijders, and with me is a group of journalism students from the Tshwane University of Technology. With me is the team leader and CEO of the Outlook Foundation, the 2021 NSTF South 32 Non-Governmental Organization Award winner. Good day, Segomotso, and thank you for joining us.
Good day, and thank you for having me.
Segomotso, before we talk about the NSTF South 32 Award, please tell us more about the Outlook Foundation and the work that they do in South Africa.
Yeah, Outlook Foundation is a volunteer-led organization. It's a non-profit organization that is registered with the Department of Social Development. And just to clear the confusion, Outlook Foundation is not anywhere linked to Microsoft Outlook, so they are two separate organizations who are just the volunteers who, thought the name Outlook Foundation would be good for us to use. Because in what we do, we focus on promoting the careers and opportunity in the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics fields. And sometimes we do innovation, because I think that's the in thing nowadays. And in terms of us advancing that, our focus is more in the disadvantaged communities where we know information is not readily available. So the organization is there to try to bridge the gap between areas where there's a lot of information and there are a lot of organizations that are doing voluntary work. And then we focus more on the areas where there's a little bit of information, or if at all, no information. And Outlook Foundation itself is an organization that definitely is pinning itself into the community of professionals for today, making sure that they are there to present their opportunities or also to present their careers. Or let me rather maybe use a simplistic way. They are there to show that careers in science, engineering, technology can be attained by normal human beings, because as we grew, we used to think these careers are for smart kids who come from certain areas. So we do our work of promoting this work by bringing young people who are working in this field, so that itself will ensure that all the learners can see that this career can be for anybody who's willing to do to venture into that opportunity.
So are you in essence bringing science, engineering, and technology closer to students or closer to learners?
It is more focusing on the learners, and typically we bridge even to the youth. The youth in South Africa could be anywhere else. Sometimes can be voluntary organization, churches, where there are young people within their contingency who might not be exposed to opportunities. So our work is more into the youth, with a specific focus to the schools, because I think that is where the science and the mathematics are offered.
And what are the ways that you do to reach out to the different groups of youth and to the learners?
Yeah, we had focused on partnering with organizations, especially that are interested in science communications. And with that, I will acknowledge the assistance of Department of Science, Research Wing, NRF, whereby SASTA itself has a communication section. They call it science communication. So within them, we partner with them to do what we call the role modeling campaign. That itself is to try to change the learners' focus on having the role models being somebody else who's not linked into their future. So what we do, we showcase the careers in those fields by bringing people who are working in that. Then we focus on young people so that they can relate with the learners that we are reaching out to. And we mostly like to use the new graduates, so that at least it's easy for them to be able to connect to the learners who are still at school. Because I remember one of the days when we went to talk to the youngsters, I indicated issues like higher grade and lower grade, and they said that has a long time been changed. So I think now, using the ones who recently graduated, they are a little bit linked or more tuned to what the learners at school are doing, and then they are so tuned in making sure that whatever the learners might have to study is linked to the curriculum that is currently being used. So what we do, we present those volunteers who are, let's say, scientists and engineers and technologists and mathematicians, to talk to youngsters, to tell them that these careers are possible, and by also telling them the subject that you have to choose, because I think it's rooted in the subject choice. So we make sure that we get those volunteers to talk to the youngsters to make them feel like, it is possible, and to make them to know that really it is an opportunity that they can never leave because they are undermining themselves.
Segomotso, if we move over to the NSTF South 32 Award, what does that award mean to the Outlook Foundation and ultimately to you as program leader and CEO of the organization?
Yeah, this is really a humbling recognition. Really, we were not doing anything to be given accolades, but the fact that the NSTF recognized the work that we do, they actually are highlighting to us that the work that we're doing is not something that we're doing in vain. And now that itself becomes a challenge to me, especially as the team leader, to say, you know what, if somebody can see what you're doing, this means this work is reaching out to somebody else. So that itself presents an opportunity for us to know that there's still a lot of work to be done there. And I think as the team leader, I told my team to say, where we are, we need to understand that when South Africa has already noticed that we're doing this work, it means there's a lot of work to be done. There's no reason to be complacent. And I think we feel so honored to be, paired with, other award recipients who really we have valued their work. We have also learned from their work to know that, what they do and what you do, has been, put into the same platform whereby we found ourselves having been awarded this accolade. And I do believe that that itself is really a point to say, start doing your work and know that South Africa is really appreciating the work that you're doing.
Segomotso, you briefly referred to what you do and how you engage with the youth. What is that one thing that every person in South Africa should know?
Our slogan as Outlook Foundation speaks volume. It says the future is in your hands. And I think we have backed it by saying there are opportunities out there. And if you feel like there are no opportunities available, then you have the power to create one. You must never look at yourself with the lens that other people are using to gauge you. You have the power to be able to bring something that has never existed, and that itself is able to make a difference. And I think it speaks to the birth of Outlook Foundation, because we realize that we never had opportunities. And I think out of taking the opportunities that we have to reach out, we've seen the wonders that the organization managed to do, and the kind of outreach that we reached. I mean, for now, the people that we reach out to, some of them are, I could say they are doing well. And as they're doing well, some of them, they've come to where they've grown to where they'll be able to be future leaders in the organization.
Segomotso, we have one student here, and I would like to hand over to Nomzamo and ask if she has any questions based on your response up until now.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate you on your award and for the work that you do. I hear that your focus is disadvantaged communities. Myself being from one of those communities, how do you then ensure that there is consistency in these mentorships programs? Because some might be discouraged when faced with challenges, albeit them possessing the potential to become, how do you then make sure that there is consistency in these mentorships?
Yeah, thank you for that question. What we do is we had worked, let's say, with organizations where it used to be a once-off type of reach out, and I think for now we have escalated our rules of engagement with them to say, you know what, let's come to where we do the monitoring and evaluation of the program. We were fortunate that some of the programs, as we implement them, some areas we've gone once, but that itself became a seed that made the organization, or rather the school, to start looking at the learning and then the platform that they're offering for the youngsters to learn science, mathematics, and let's say science and mathematics to be the part of the future. So they've taken it seriously. Firstly, it used to just be subject choices, but now they've taken it seriously to see that, there are youngsters who are out there who are making it. Let's encourage our learners. And I think, like you say, it became a limitation because, this become very, very serious at the beginning, but with time it disappears. So that's why we say now we're introducing the essence of saying, let's adopt areas where we can work with them, and then we can continue to do what we do and we make sure that the youngsters who are coming are going to also benefit from the ones who have already passed. Now, I want to make an example. We are mentoring the students which are, or let's say bursary students that are funded by the Department of Public Works. What we do, we are doing the cascading model, where the first team that we have are going to mentor the ones who are coming, and then that itself continues. So with that model, we've seen that we're able to analyze the results, we're able to see the challenges, we're able to improve on our offering. So that's the kind of model that we want to use to go back to the schools to make sure that what we have done and the seed that we've sown doesn't die. And then within the project management team now, we divided to where we say we're going to have 3 project managers, where we say, you know what, there will be one who focuses on this particular project. There are ones who look into other opportunities, future opportunities, and there's one who look into, we say, strategic projects. That one can crisscross between the one who do this project and the one who look into other strategic projects. So this is to ensure that whatever we offer, it is going to be evaluated, and then where we need to strengthen, we're going to strengthen. So currently we are busy discussing with one of our, let's say, I will call them our funders, to say, let us enter into the MOU, which is already advanced. It's being looked at by their legal and their managing director, to say, let us have not a once in a while outreach. Let us have an outreach that is going to be benchmarked, and we are going to be able to monitor and evaluate it. And I think that's the only way that we'll be able to see whether our impact are having positive results. And like you say, it's at rural schools, sometimes they can be forgotten. So we want to make sure that we ourselves, we take it upon ourselves to ensure that when we take information to those learners, we continue to ensure that they're getting constant supply of information, not something that happens once in a while. I hope that managed to answer you very well.
Yes, yes, you did. Thank you.
Segomotso, and then a final question. What can we expect from the Outlook Foundation in the following 2 to 3 years?
That's a good question. With every organization, they usually have their horizon, or let's say the plan to say, what we have, let's say our roadmap says 2 years, which is short term, and then there's medium term, which is 5 years, and then there's long term. So this one we classified under our short term goals. Our short term is to be a voluntary organization that grows in our membership, especially in terms of the volunteers, because we are volunteer driven. So if we can increase our base of volunteers who are in the math and the sciences, so that when we need to reach out, we have more people. We don't want to find ourselves with the challenges that we had when we started the organization, where we used the same people for quite a long, lot of projects. And I think at certain time they got tired, and at certain time they found themselves spending more time outside their home, being on the road. So we want to expand so that at least we can have a large pool of volunteers. And then secondly, we want to find ourselves getting being the anchor or the leader in terms of collaborations. We want to strengthen collaborations. What we've seen is that when anybody wakes up and they think there's something that needs to be done, they start doing it without considering who's been doing. So we are trying to look into organizations that are existing. We're still studying them, and then we want to try to see how easily can they collaborate, take their efforts, and then join them together and be able to make more and meaningful impact, and also to avoid duplication, because some organization, you find that there's 10 organizations that has been to one place, and because the focus are different, it confuses people instead of helping them. So we want to be that hub, that assist in terms of stimulating the knowledge within the STEM fields, where information is sought, it is transmitted, and it's archived for future users. And on top of that, organization, they know each other and they can start working together. So our aim is to make sure that tomorrow when we make impact, it is not all about pushing our names only, but it's also about making sure that the recipient of what we do, which is the learners, are getting value for their money, and they're not going to be, finding even the fly by nights, because they're there, where people come and then they promise and they disappear. And then when we go and try to reach out to those youngsters, they say, somebody said this, we never saw it happening. So we want to try to be that champion that bring about change. And then, we strengthen the collaborations, and then we make sure that duplication is avoided. And I think that that's the very bigger vision that we are putting ourselves in. But I think if we don't start it, nobody will start it, and we're still going to have the chaos that we've been having in the past.
Segomotso, thank you so much for your time, and we wish you just the best for the future, and we hope that you achieve all your goals and objectives in the near future.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you very much.
My guest today was Mr. Segomotso Kelefetswe. He's the team leader and CEO of the Outlook Foundation, and they received the NSTF South 32 Non-Governmental Organization Award.